Tanner
is now joining.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's 5 o'clock, and this is the April 2021 Committee of Adjustment meeting. And I'm going to start by taking a roll call of the committee members. Marcel? And Lisa? And how about Rudy? Fabian, can you hear me? Was I muted?
If you were, you're coming in
Try
now.
again. Marcel, are you present?
Yes, I am.
Can't hear. Can a technician adjust the volume up, please? So I think that was Marcel. And Lisa?
Yes.
And Rudy?
Yes.
And Adam? Okay, just give us a minute, folks. We're going to check into, we got some technical difficulties going on here, so just hang in there with us. Okay, Scott, can you hear me?
Yep, you're coming in clear.
And I have no volume at this end. I did, now I don't. So just hang tight for a sec.
Yeah, you having trouble hearing us?
Now I can.
Okay, good. I heard back
I can
from
hear
all
you
the
when I
committee
turn the
members.
microphone off.
Pardon?
I can only hear you when I turn the microphone off.
Oh, that's odd.
Okay, well, I'll proceed with the roll call again. Marcel, are you present?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you.
Is
and
now
Lisa?
exiting.
Hello? Adam.
Is now joining.
Hello?
Okay,
Hello?
Adam, we got you. Thank you. Rudy?
Yes.
Okay, Rudy, thank you. How about Lisa?
Yes.
Okay, good. So all the members are present. So hopefully in the next couple of minutes we can iron out our little technical glitch going on here. So anyway, good afternoon, everyone. And we're going to begin our Committee of Adjustment meeting. For everyone's information,
Is
we
now
generally deal with
joining.
each application according to the order of the agenda. Anyone present who wishes to speak in support or against an application, as well as anyone with questions
Is now
or concerns,
joining.
will have an opportunity to speak. The committee will make their decision following each application. If there's anyone on the line who is not an applicant or an agent, but is interested in the decision of the committee, you can get in touch with our Secretary-Treasurer, Sherry Mott, by email at sherry.mott@norfolkcounty.ca. So that's SHERRY.MOTT@norfolkcounty.ca. Please list the file number and your full name and mailing address. Copies of the decision are automatically sent to the applicant and agent within 15 days of the meeting. In order to be kept advised of a possible appeal to the local planning and appeal tribunal, you must request that you be sent a copy of the committee's decision on the application. The decisions are final if there are no appeals 20 days after the committee's decision. Okay, so I'm going to remind everyone to make sure they're muted unless they're going to speak.
Linda Vickery?
And to speak,
Is now joining.
if you're on the line, it's *6, okay? So the first order of business is determine if any members have any disclosures of pecuniary interest when considering any of the applications that we are dealing with today. Are there any disclosures of interest? So hearing none, I will move on to the next item, and that is the minutes of the March meeting. And has everyone has had a copy of the meeting, and are there any errors or
Is now
omissions?
exiting.
Okay, hearing none. Can I get a mover and a seconder, please?
Moved by Rudy.
Marcel moves. Marcel moves.
Okay, Marcel, I got you as a seconder. Rudy moved it. And
Okay, thank you.
all those in favor, and I'll just run through the roll call again. So Marcel,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Rudy,
Yes.
and Adam.
Yes.
And that motion carries. And this too, I guess, right? And that's for later. Okay, so first up, our first application is file number BNPL 2021044 in the name of Mark James Fitzgerald. And can the planner give the report, please?
Through you, Mr. Chair. So this report, sorry, I'm just pulling up the other screen here. So for this application, staff are recommending deferral. This was similar to one of the other applications that happened on Queen Street, actually for the same property, in Simcoe last month. So this application is being recommended for deferral because the application does not meet the servicing policies of the Norfolk County official plan. So based on that, staff are recommending deferral because the application doesn't meet the policies at this time.
Okay, thanks. That's it?
That's it. The agent is aware, and the applicant also knows. So I spoke with them earlier, so they are aware of the deferral. I'm not sure if they're in attendance because I don't think they need to be. So.
Okay, thanks. Is the applicant or agent on the line? And okay, does the committee have any questions of the planner? Okay, hearing none. The applicant is not on the line, I imagine. I'll give him one more try. Okay, hearing none. Can I get a motion to defer on this application, please?
Motion to defer, Mr. Chairman. Marcel.
It's Marcel and a seconder.
Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
Gotcha.
So file number BNPL
Is now joining.
202100044 in the name of Mark James Fitzgerald has been moved for deferral. All those in favor, Marcel
Yes.
and Lisa
Yes.
and Rudy.
Yes.
Sorry, Rudy.
Yes.
Okay, thanks, and Adam.
Yes.
that motion's carried. Okay, so next up we have
Richard
file
Squires.
number BNPL
Is now
2021046
exiting.
in the name of Russell Blake. Can the planner now give the report, please?
Through you, Mr. Chair. So this application has been received to several parcel having a frontage of 48 meters and an area of 4,019 square meters, and retained a parcel having an area of 59 hectares or 97 acres as the severance of a dwelling made surplus through farm amalgamation. For this application, comments have been consolidated in the staff report, which members of the public have access to. There have been no public comments that have been
Is now exiting.
There have been no public comments in regards to this application that have been received. The subject application is consistent with the PPS and conforms to the Norfolk County surplus farm severance policies of the official plan and complies with the zoning bylaw for suitable lot creation within the agricultural zone. Planning staff support this application and recommend it be approved subject to the attached conditions.
Okay, thank you. Is the planner or agent on the line?
Oh, Mr. Rowe, it seems like you're still muted.
Is the planner or the agent on the line, please?
Yes, Dave Rowe, can you hear me?
Yeah, can Dave?
Yeah,
Stand by.
I'm really just here to answer any questions that the committee might have.
Okay, thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Does the committee have any questions for the planner? Being none, do you have any additional information to provide, Dave, at all?
No.
Okay,
Thanks.
thanks. Can I get a motion from the committee, please?
Rudy moves approval, Mr. Chairman.
And Lisa will second that.
Thank you both. So, file number BNPL 2021046 in the name of Russell Blake. The subject application is consistent with related policies of the Provincial Policy Statement 2020 and the Norfolk County Official Plan regarding surplus farm dwelling severances, and that no public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this approval. All in favor, Marcel
Yes.
and Lisa
Yes.
and Rudy
Yes.
and Adam? All right, Adam? Are you still with us, Adam?
Adam says yes. Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So that application is carried as approved.
Penny Sanchez Martinez.
Is now joining.
Okay, so next up is file number BNPL 2021065. The applicants are 2177545 and 2177546 Ontario Incorporated. And can the planner please give the report?
For sure. Thank you. And through the chair, a proposal, an application has been received to parcel, frontage of 20 meters. Sorry, I'm getting a bit of feedback. If everyone could mute themselves, and then we'll see if that can help. Oh, Mr. Chair, it seemed to be that it was your computer that was giving some feedback, so I just muted you. I hope you can hear me. If you can't, you can unmute yourself and I can try to work with my volume, but I'll just proceed. As I was saying, has been received to sever an irregularly sized lot, being parcel 1, with a frontage of 20 meters and an area of 20.63 20.3 hectares and retain an irregular sized parcel, which is known as Part 2, with an existing frontage along Decoux Road in an area of 20.63 hectares in the urban boundary of Simcoe. This application has been filed concurrently with minor variance application to address the deficient frontage for Part 1. In terms of just background features, the subject parcel to be split is zoned development. It's irregular in size, as you can see there, and the total area is approximately 41.3 hectares. It has multiple depths and frontages along Decoux Road with additional frontages within Woodway Trail subdivision. So that includes Trillium Way, Basswood, and Woodway Trail. The proposed severance of Part 1, which is the northern lot or parcel, will create a separate lot with 20-meter frontages along Woodway Trail, Basswood, and Trillium Way, and have an area, as I said, around 20.6 hectares. The minor variance is to address this this frontage for Part 1. No variance is needed for the frontages of Part 2, being the retained land, as those are existing. I would want to say that staff have received comments from the public with regard to this application. I've done my best to respond to them, but would like to take a minute to respond to them here. In general, the majority of the comments we received were just inquiries about the intent of this application. So I just wanted to reassure everyone here that the intent of this application is simply the dissemblement of land. It's just splitting this larger parcel into two lands. There's no development proposed with this application, and if any development were to take place on the subject lands, they would still need to pursue all applicable development applications. And then any members of the public would be notified and circulated at that time. Based on that, I would say that the subject application is consistent with the PPS and conforms to Norfolk's official plan, and with the approval of the minor variance, complies with Norfolk zoning bylaw for suitable lot creation within the development zone. As a result, planning staff support this application. I recommend it be approved subject to the attached conditions. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Scott. Can we do these both at the same time? I mean, we vote
At this
on them
time,
separately, but we can hear them
Mr.
both
Chair,
at the
if
same
you
time?
can unmute yourself to commence, that would be much appreciated.
I'm sorry, I cut you off. I couldn't hear what your response was.
I just concluded my discussion points for the file, and you're ready to address the next address any members of the public, the applicant, and so forth.
Okay, well, we'll go through them one at a time then. So anyway, is there an agent or an applicant on the line to do with BNPL 2021065?
Yes, myself, Mary Elder.
Okay, thanks, Mary. Just hang in there for a second. Does the committee have any questions of the planner? Okay, being none, does the would the agent like to add any information?
I don't think so. The planner's covered all the points about the retained and severed lands, and it's got entranceways, and how we're addressing that through the minor variance. So this severance for legal and technical reasons is pretty straightforward. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mary. Is there anyone on the line that wishes to speak in favor of the application? You can unmute yourself and press star 6 at this time. Okay, that being said, is there anyone present on the line that wishes to speak in opposition or in general to this application? Again, you can unmute or press *6. Okay.
Dan Baird here.
Oh, hang on a second.
Can you hear
Go
me?
ahead.
Dan Baird, 179 DeCoo Road.
Yes, you're coming in. We can hear you.
Thank you. As mentioned, there has been no development no development. Sort of. We want to know what the road access. What's going to happen with the road access regarding this entire project?
Can you elaborate?
Well, currently, the people living in the new development are landlocked. Their only way out is Boswell to Ireland or Boswell or Donnelly to Victoria. Eventually, there'll be some further street access for them to access DeCoo Road. We're curious to know what the proposal is for that.
From the county's perspective, staff have not received any development proposal for the site or for the parcel. I'll turn it to the agent if they wanted to add anything, but at this moment, there's no proposals as of yet.
Thank you.
No, there is no specific direction at this point. They haven't made the decisions.
So there's no proposal to be selling to private purchasers of that sort or anything of that sort?
There's nothing I'm aware of at this time.
Thank you.
Okay, again, there would be notification of a development proposal down the road in the future. So just so that we're not this application is not at that point yet. That's
okay.
Some time to go. Is there anyone else on the line that wishes to speak in general to this application? Please *6 now or unmute. So it doesn't appear, I'll just give it one more chance because it looks like there's lots of people on the line. I'm just wondering if anybody wants to speak to this application in general.
Sorry, just Jan Baird again. Just wondering if the plan is as the original plan was. We have neighbors that were here for the original planning of the development, and we're new to the area, so we were wondering if the development is the same as originally proposed.
I'll let the agent answer that.
The details of how these two pieces will develop are not known at this time. They'll have to come forward through planning applications, and you'll have an opportunity at that point to speak to them.
Thank you.
Okay, so one more time, last call. Is there anyone on the line that wishes to speak in general to this application? So it doesn't appear that anybody else wants to speak to this application. So does the committee have any other questions? And hearing none, can I get a motion on this application, please, from the committee?
I'll move, Mr. Chairman. Marcel.
Okay, thank you. So Adam moves and Marcel seconds. So the file number BNPL 2021065, 2177545, and 546, Ontario Incorporated, have applied. The subject application is consistent with the Provincial Policy Statement 2020 and conforms to all the consent policies of the Norfolk County Official Plan and Norfolk County Zoning Bylaw, and that public input was received and therefore has been considered, has been considered as part of this application. All those in favor, and I'll start with Marcel.
Yes.
Thank you. And Lisa?
Yes.
And Rudy?
Yes.
And Adam.
Yes.
Thank you all. And that motion carries and is approved. So now I will
Jan
move
Baird
on to application ANPL
Is now exiting.
2021066, excuse me. And again, it's 2177-545 and 546. There's a typo here, I think, on, we got double 545s. Was it 54? Anyway.
Shield.
Ontario Incorporated. And they
Is
are
now
moving
exiting.
this up, or applying for this minor variance. And I guess, do you want to give another report, Scott, or have you really summed it up the first time around?
You know, I'll just quickly speak to it. Since it's a separate application, I just want to provide what staff's justification was for the minor variance. I'll skim over the site, site details as we're familiar, but I would like to highlight that there has been a minor variance request, which is concurrent to the file that we just approved. The intent of that request is to permit a reduction in the frontage for a newly created development lot. Sorry, not development lot, development zone parcel, which is this parcel. So for that, there's been a request for 20 meters, whereas 180 is required. The reason for that requirement is this severance has removed the frontages which previously had from Deku, which were legal and were of size, were of size that were met our requirements. So this reduction is to address that variance, or is to address the reduction. So for a minor variance, and under section 45(1) of the Planning Act, there are 4 tests that the minor variance must meet. Planning staff reviewed these 4 tests and have answered them, and it's our opinion that the application meets these 4 tests. And I will recite these 4 tests and the justification provided. So the first test is the application must conform to the general intent and purpose of the official plan. General intent. The second is conform to the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw. Third, the application is desirable and appropriate development for the lands. And lastly, the application is minor. In terms of the criteria for that, it is staff's opinion that the application conforms to the general intent and purpose of the official plan, because the subject lands are sized to accommodate the intended development types of future residential designation it's sized accordingly for the intended development types of the urban residential designation. Next, the application conforms to the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw, as the subject lands are sized to accommodate a range of possible future development types, which is needed for the developmental zone. The application is appropriate because the subject lands maintain an appropriate size to accommodate future land development as intended by utilizing access from Woodway Trail subdivision, which is Trillium, Basswood, and Woodway Trails. Lastly, the application is minor because the reduction will have no adverse impacts on the surrounding land uses, since the intended access points are existing from Woodway Trail subdivision. Lastly, it would be noted that any future development, as noted, would still need to pursue all applicable planning applications, and at that time, it would be determined for any lot size or creation or intent what's appropriate. This is simply just for the disassembling of these lands and to create 2 larger lots, larger parcels. With that, I would note that staff did receive comments, but I do believe I addressed them in the previous application. That said, if there are further comments or questions, I'd be happy to address them. And with that, I will say that planning staff support this application and recommend it be approved. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And so does the committee have any questions of the planner? And does the agent have anything to add?
I think the planner has covered it quite well. There's 4 entrances for this urban residential designated property, so it should work well in the future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mary. Is there anyone on the line that wishes to speak in favor of this application? You can press *6 now. Okay. Is there anyone that wishes to speak in opposition or in general to this application? You can unmute or press *6 now. Is there anyone that wishes to speak in general to this application? Unmute or press *6 now. Okay, there doesn't appear to be anybody that wishes to speak. That's fine. Are there any other comments or questions from the committee? Can I get a motion from the committee, please? Can a
Lisa
committee
moves.
member give me a motion, please?
Did you get that, Ellen? Lisa would like to move.
Okay, thanks, Lisa. And a seconder?
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman. Marcel.
Okay, so application ANPL 2021-066 in the name of 2177-545 and 546, I believe. Okay, correct. Ontario Incorporated has applied for a minor variance. In accordance with Section 45(1) of the Planning Act, and the development and requested relief is considered appropriate development, minor in nature, and maintains the general intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw, and that we're going to say that public input was received because we had received it on the previous application and they are related. So that public input was received and therefore has been considered as part of this application. All those in favor, Marcel?
Yes.
And Lisa?
Yes.
And Rudy?
Yes.
And Adam?
Yes.
And that is carried. Okay, file number BMPL 2021-040 in the name of Pamela Nobes. And this is a severance application, I believe. And can the planner give the report, please?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair.
Is now exiting.
So an application has been received to sever.
Is now exiting.
Okay, I'm safe. An application has been received to sever a parcel having a frontage of 11.087 meters with a width of 11.087 meters, a depth of 47.27 meters, and an area of 524 square meters, and retain a parcel having an area of 524 square meters, a frontage of 11 meters, and a width of 11 meters, and a depth of 47.27 meters as the creation of a lot in the urban area of Port Dover. So this application is unique in the sense that, so in the slideshow photo, you can see that there is currently a property on there. It's a single detached dwelling. So that property that is shown on there, that home no longer exists. It's been demolished. And Scott, sorry, can you go to the next slide? Yeah, so this slide indicates that the semi-detached building that's proposed to be on the subject lands is actually currently in construction, and I can confirm that based on our site inspection. So as a result of this, the way that this is proposed to work is that because there was previously one water connection for the single family dwelling, for the one of the homes, the one half of the semi will be serviced through municipal services, and the other portion is to be serviced by a private cistern. So the portion that will be, as the portion that has the private cistern is the one that says subject lands, so the one on the left side there. So once servicing becomes available, the applicant is required to connect to municipal services. It's not uncommon to see severance applications after the fact the building has been constructed or is in construction. This is because it eliminates the fact of, so say if they've applied for a severance and then afterwards when the building is built, they need to adjust the lot lines or have to apply for a minor variance. This eliminates that requirement by doing it after, and it's easier for them to have to go and conduct a survey one time as opposed to having to go back and redo what's already been done. So comments have been consolidated in the staff report, which the applicant and members of the committee have access to. Public comments have been received for this application, but they were received after the report was already written. So the public comments that have been received are surrounding a nearby property owner who has significant concerns in regards to drainage and water flow. So I believe that member of the public is available on call, and they will be speaking to their concerns shortly. So the subject application is consistent with the severance policies of the official plan and the Norfolk County zoning bylaw. Planning staff support this application and recommend that it be approved subject to the attached conditions.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions? Is the agent or applicant on the line?
Yes, I am.
Do you have anything further to add?
Yes, my name's Penny Sanchez Martinez, and I'm speaking on behalf of my mother, Sharon Stevens, who lives at 599 St. Andrew Street in Port Dover. And she is at, I guess, the back side of that property that they're intending to build.
Can I just interrupt you for a second?
I'm sorry?
Are you the agent or applicant?
I am not the applicant. I am the applicant's daughter.
Okay, I'm
I
sorry.
am
Carry on.
Sharon Stevens' daughter, Penny Sanchez Martinez. And I'm calling on her behalf because she's asked me to do this. I also wrote the letter into the planning office.
Okay, continue.
Sorry. Yep.
So the concerns that Sharon has is that she's in the lowest laying area amongst those houses, and she has to have two sub pumps going 24/7 to pump the water without having to have some flooding in her basement. And she constantly has to maintain those pumps, and she's very concerned if there's new properties that are being built that they have the proper surface drainage path for the lot. And she said that if any building is in construction, there will be even more surface water, and she needs to know that this is going to be drained, where it's going to be drained at present, because she understands the surface draining would come onto her lot because it's the lowest lying point. And Sharon has also requested that if it's possible, that a proper engineering evaluation of the lot so that there's no additional drops of water coming onto her property. She's a senior citizen, and it's a lot to maintain these sub pumps running up and down the stairs constantly. And with additional snow and water drainage in the seasonal spring thaw, this would create a significant problem for her.
Okay,
So she'd like you guys to consider this situation.
Okay. And does that about cover all your concerns for now? We can get a couple of answers for you.
Yes, that does cover the concerns.
Okay, so to be clear, you are not the applicant of the property. You are
Oh, sorry,
you are
I
not
might have said the
applying for
wrong
this
thing.
severance, right? You are
Yeah.
Calling on behalf of a neighbor.
Yes, I'm calling on behalf of my mother, Sharon Stevens.
Okay, got it. Now, is the applicant or an agent for the applicant on the line?
Yeah, I am. Sharon.
Sorry, having a bit trouble hearing you. Can you try that again?
Yeah, I'm on the line. It's Sharon Stevens.
Are you the applicant? Applicant, did you file the application?
Through the chair, ma'am, it's just very difficult to hear you. If you can try speaking closer to the phone, that may be of assistance.
Are you talking to for Penny Sanchez Martinez, or are you talking to the applicant?
Well, it
Through
appears
the
that the
chair.
applicant or an agent is not on the line at this time. So what we'll do is we'll continue on, and I'll try again in a few minutes. Does the committee have any questions of the planner? Okay, hearing none. Maybe the planner, can you, Fabian, can you address some of these questions by this neighbor or the lady that's calling on behalf of the neighbor?
Through you, Mr. Chair. So in order to address some of their concerns in terms of drainage and water servicing, essentially the subject land is zoned R2. The use of a semi-detached building is a permitted use. So essentially the applicants applied for a building permit, and they've done, as part of their building permit application, they have to submit a grading and drainage plan, and that's been reviewed by building staff. In terms of the water impacts onto other properties, it's not permitted to have water going onto other properties through the review of the building permit and when they actually review the grading plans. Although it appears that that is something that is happening at their property, I can't necessarily speak to that. I can only speak to the documents that they have submitted and reviewed as part of this application. Sorry, as part of the building permit and this application. Further to that, in terms of, I'm just going to pull up the building comments. So building has reviewed the severance application and have no comments. So that means that all comments that they have been addressed through their building permit stage.
Okay. Does that answer your question, Penny, to a degree?
Well, yes, it does, because I guess what you're saying is that when they did the building permit, they addressed all the issues of drainage at that time. So we shouldn't be concerned about it because none of the water is going to come onto my mother's property. Is that what you're saying?
That's the theory. So they probably haven't done the final drainage yet because the site is still under construction. But to get a final building permit approval, I believe they have to have their final drainage in place and have it inspected according to the plan that they have submitted. And if the planner can correct me if I am wrong, please do.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, so I'm obviously not in the building department, but I have worked in a building department in a previous municipality. So when they do apply for building permits, essentially, yeah, they do submit a grading plan as part of the application. Then afterwards, once the building is complete, then they go back and inspect and have to fix essentially any low spots or anything like that on the property to ensure that the water is draining on site as opposed to on the abutting properties.
Okay, well, Penny, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get our planning staff to follow up with the building department and get in touch with you. Do they have your contact number information?
Yes, I talked to Mr. Sarah about this, and he has all my email information because my mother is not really tech savvy and she can't see that well. So that's why I'm trying to take care of this for her. And of course, I don't know all of the, building permit lingo and stuff to be able to discuss it. But I just know the information that we've reviewed with her, and I know that she doesn't want to stop anybody from building a house. Like, she's happy if anybody wants to build a house, just as long as it's not going to affect her property. Because if the town or the city planning would come over to see what's going on at her place with these sub pumps going and the water draining constantly onto her land, then they would understand why she's so concerned about this. And as I said, she's a senior citizen and it's a lot to maintain.
Okay, I understand. So we'll get the planning staff, and either planning or building will follow up with you in the next few days or into next week, kind of thing. With COVID, scheduling is tricky, so everyone's working from home, so you have to depend on voicemails and this.
Well, we really appreciate that.
If that's satisfactory to you, that we follow up with you, okay?
That's excellent. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else on the line that wishes to speak in general to this application? I'll try one more time for the agent or the applicant. Are they on the line?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we can hear you, but very faintly.
You can hear me, the chair, very faintly?
No, sorry, not you, Mr. Chair. The owner, the applicant.
Actually, Mr. Sarah, that's my mother. I have her on my home line and she's talking, but you can't hear her because I don't have a speakerphone for home line, because she was trying to talk to you and tell you what's going on, because I had her listening into the conversation so she'd understand what's happening today.
Okay.
So she's trying to talk and you're probably just faintly hearing her in the background. I apologize.
Okay, well, you can relay our messaging to her on our behalf then, please.
Sure, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, then now we'll move on. Is there anyone else in favor to speak in general to this application on the line? Unmute or press *6. Okay, so it appears that there's no one. Can I get where am I at? Can I get a motion from the committee?
Rudy moves approval, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Rudy. And a seconder?
Lisa seconds, Mr. Chair.
Good.
Okay. File number BNPL 2021-040. Rudy moves. Lisa seconds. In for the application of a severance. The application is consistent with the Provincial Policy Statement 2020 and conforms with the consent policies of the Norfolk County Official Plan, and that public input has been received and therefore has been considered as part of this application. All those in favor? Marcel?
Yes.
Thank you, Marcel. Lisa?
Yes.
Thank you, Lisa. Rudy?
Yes.
And Adam?
Yes.
Thank you, and that is carried. Okay, next up. File number ANPL 2021-043 in the name of Richard and Janina Squires at 55 Norfolk County
Penny
Road 57
Sanchez
Simcoe.
Martinez
Can the planner please
is
give the
now
report?
exiting.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So this application has been received to construct an addition to an existing accessory structure, which requires relief of 55 square meters from the maximum 200 square meter to permit a total usable floor area for all accessory buildings of 55 square meters. So the accessory building that we are discussing is currently Scott, you almost had it on your mouse there. Yeah, there we go. That one shows it better. That one right there. So comments have been consolidated in the staff report, and there have been no public comments that have been received for this application. So there's 4 tests that the minor variance needs to be tested against. The 4 of them are, does it meet the intent of the official plan? Does it meet the intent of the zoning bylaw? Is it appropriate development, and is it minor in nature? And so the application conforms to the general intent and purpose of the official plan because it's consistent with the agricultural policies. The application conforms to the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw as the increased floor space and accessory building supports the existing and permitted use of a single detached dwelling. The application is appropriate because it supports the additional floor space and will allow for increased storage on the subject lands. And it's minor in nature because the increase of usable floor area for accessory buildings in the agricultural zone is relatively small, and the proposed increase the proposed increase in usable floor area is common throughout agricultural areas. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Planning staff support this application, recommend that it be approved.
Okay, thank you. Is there an agent or an applicant on the line?
Yeah, good evening. Richard Squires here, the applicant.
Okay, thank you, Richard. Does the committee have any questions of the planner? Okay, hearing none. Does Richard, do you have anything to add?
No comments, just here to support any questions of the committee.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone on the line that wishes to speak to this application? Press *6 or unmute now. Okay, there does not appear to be anybody on the line that wishes to speak to this application. Does the committee have any other further comments? Can I get a motion from the committee?
I'll move, Mr. Chairman, Marcel.
Okay, Marcel moved, and I didn't catch who seconded it.
Adam.
Okay, thanks, Adam.
You betcha.
So, application ANPL 2021-043 in the name of Richard and Janina Squires of 55 Norfolk County Road 57 in Simcoe, in accordance with Section 45(1) of the Planning Act, and the development and requested relief is considered appropriate in development, minor in nature, and maintains the general intent of the official plan and the zoning bylaw, and that no public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor, Marcel?
Yes.
And Lisa?
Yes.
Rudy?
Yes.
And Adam?
Yes.
Thank you, and that motion is carried. Okay, and lastly, we have file number BNPL 2021-047 in the name of 184474 Ontario, Inc., care of Ivan Dyke. And can the planner please give the report?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. An application has been received to sever a parcel having a frontage of 59 meters and an area of 4,050 square meters, and retain a parcel of having an area of 39 or 146 acres as the severance of a dwelling made surplus through farm amalgamation. There have been no public comments that have been received for this application, and staff comments have been included and consolidated within the report, which everybody has access to. The subject application is consistent with the PPS and conforms to the Norfolk County surplus farm severance policies of the official plan and complies to the zoning bylaw for suitable lot creation within the agricultural zone. Planning staff support this application and recommend that it be approved subject to the attached conditions.
Okay, thank you. Is there an applicant or agent on the line? No? Okay. Does the committee have any questions of the planner? Is there anyone on the line that wishes to speak to this application in general? Are there any other comments from the committee? Can I get a motion from the committee, please?
Rudy moves approval, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Rudy. And a seconder, please?
Adam.
Thank you, Adam.
Adam.
So
Yep,
file
okay.
number BNPL 2021047 in the name of 184474 Ontario Inc., care of Ivan Dyke. The subject application is consistent with related policies of the Provincial Policy Statement 2020 and the Norfolk County Official Plan regarding surplus farm dwelling severances, and that no public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor, Marcel?
Yes.
And Lisa?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
And Adam?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, and that carries too. And that's our final application. Is there any other business of the committee? I get a motion to adjourn, please.
Adam.
I'll move it, Mr. Chairman. Marcel.
Okay, and all those in favor? Marcel?
Yes.
And Lisa?
Yes.
And Rudy?
Yes.
And Adam?
Yes.
And myself, so it's unanimous. And thank you very much, everybody, and we will see you again in May.
Thanks, Al. Bye.
All right.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman.